what were your impressions of me as a student?
You were a lot more mature than the rest. So I think, so you see, the promise I made, right, to keep all of you in school, when you decided not to do that, right, I thought you needed to go.
One of the greatest lines that I always remember by you is that whenever I misbehave, and you always tell me that, you know, if you continue behaving this way, you will end up in jail.
Yeah.
Do you think the market now for normal technical students and ITE students would be similar to a degree holder? Like, IT is great for teaching hard skills. Like, so when at point of time I hear about what's this hair cutting course?
Oh yeah, hairdressing.
To me, ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. Like, why would I want to learn how to cut hair? But now that I'm older and I cut hair every 2 weeks, then I'm like, you know what? Like, the people who took the course are probably earning big bucks. From Sec 1 to Sec 2, I did very well. Right? So I think I was like, I got a bursary, I remember.
Correct. And you were among the top 10, I remember.
Yeah. And if I am not wrong, my English was like first or second.
Yes.
And my math was like top 10.
You always had a gift for English, really. Like what you're doing now. Yeah. It was always there.
Yeah. And I remember you were trying to push us to normal academic.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that for us?
I think I saw that as a way to give you all another pathway. Because you see, the normal tech pathway is very fixed. You can do damn well for NT. It doesn't make a difference. You will still go to IT. Now, I'm not saying IT is no good, right? Especially, you know, now that I've been out to the corporate world, I've seen employees who graduate from IT, right? And I really appreciate what IT could do. But you see, the thing is that I wanted you all to have more choices, right? It's about the choice. So if you could go to normal acad, of course, the choices would be poly. Or you might even from any course to go to Express, which is one of your classmates, Jasmine did, right? Shuli, her Chinese name was Shuli, but I think now her name is Jasmine, right? She crossed from 1T1 to 2N3. From 2N3, if I'm not mistaken, she went to 3E. Okay, but anyway, the idea is to really get you all to, for those of you who have that, you know, I assess having the capability, right? Because very quickly after I started teaching you all, right, and I started to hear stories of some of your family, you know, from Miss Lim, right, and also from Madam Tan, you know, and my own observation, right, I feel that a lot of you were disadvantaged by your family background.
Okay.
If lack of a better word, it was other people who failed you, not yourself, right? Well, all of you were only kids, right? I mean, how much are you able to be on your own?
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's also a way, okay, if you look at teachers, right? Most teachers are graduates. So many of the life that you all had back then, right, were not the life that teachers live. We have very different life as many of you, right? Many of us come from, you know, with good family support and so on, unlike some of you in the normal tech. So I think I was also trying to help you all break out of that cycle. So I was very into pushing those of you, right, whom I think can push, right, into normal acad.
Yeah, and you told us, no, wait, but is this even like legal? Not say legal, was it even possible? It was possible.
Possible.
Oh, so it wasn't something that you had to break the mold or...
No. It's up to the school to determine, right? Who do they want to move across the stream, right? Of course, there must be conditions such as there must be enough vacancies, right? Because you cannot break the class size. If you break the class size, you got to, I reckon, right? You got to submit approval from the superintendent, you know. The school principal must do all the approval process and so on. So there's only a maximum number of people per class.
Yeah. And I remember I wrote or did you write a letter for me? I
asked you to write a letter. I asked you to all write.
Yeah.
Those of you who I felt that, you know, you have high enough grades to be considered to go to NA. Maybe I was also a bit too naive. I was trying to push so many of you through. Madam Tan did tell me, right? That was when I officially took over your class because Miss Lee went on medical leave. And then Madam Tan was the so-called, with me as a co-form teacher together. She did warn me that it's not going to be very possible to push so many, but I didn't care. I submitted anyway.
Yeah, I think like 3 of us went.
Yeah.
But I remember like, wow, it was... Okay, in my head, I'm like, wow, I did well.
Yeah.
And I never expected to do so well, right? Because I never found myself as like a very like intelligent student. So I was very proud that I did well and I took 2 years of bursary, Sec 1 and Sec 2. I remember this very clearly. And then when you wanted to push me to NA, I remember saying no because I didn't want to stay for 5 years.
Yeah.
And that was most people's concern. They were like, no, we don't want to stay for 5 years. We don't want to stay for 5 years. And now that I'm like 32 years old, thinking back, maybe I should have went. Like, I should have accepted the offer and like maybe push more. I remember you kept saying, just write the letter and just keep pushing.
Yeah.
But I said I didn't want. No, I don't want to stay until Sec 5. Which brings me to my next topic.
Yeah.
What were your impressions of me as a student? Yeah.
You were a lot more mature than the rest.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So I think so you see, the promise I made, right, to keep all of you in school. When you decided not to do that, right? I can't remember at which point you left. I thought you needed to go. I thought it would be, and I always had this notion that you'll be in the creative industry. Right?
So, for some context, Sec 1 and Sec 2 I did well. From Sec 3 onwards, I stopped going to school as often.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like, when I say stop, it's literally like I will miss school for months.
Yeah, you missed school for months, I remember.
Yeah,
yes.
I stopped going to school
told me.
for months. Like the longest was I think 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Right. And when I go back to school, I will go back to it like intermittently. Like 1 week I go and then the next week I won't go.
I'll be surprised to see you in school.
Yeah. So like, and honestly, at that point of time where it was happening, I was very scared. When I skipped school for 3 months and then I go back to school, the person that I was scared to see was you.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know if I see you, I confirm kena fuck one rabak. Yeah. And then there's even once upon a time where Miss Tenny Ko and was it Mr. Singh or someone else came to my house and basically, or was it Mr. Ahmad?
I think it was Mr. Ahmad.
I think it was Mr. Ahmad. So Mr. Ahmad was
I think it was Mr. Ahmad. Yeah,
was our teacher in charge for the soccer team.
Yeah.
And Mr. Nico and Mr. Ahmad came to my house and basically asked me to go back to school.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ahmad was like, oh, you know what? At that point of time, I was playing soccer. And he was like, oh, we need you back to be the co-captain of the team.
Yeah.
Which sounded attractive, but I don't know what got into me, but I really wasn't interested in school.
So what were you doing then?
I was doing all the naughty things lah. You name it, take drugs.
Okay. But you also doing some work, right? You have to earn a living, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now that you remind me. So I started doing events.
Yeah. I thought so.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
I did events because at that point of time my family was doing very badly lah. And my dad wasn't in Singapore. And in that house was only me and my elder brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it started happening. Like, that's how I could like, not go to school. That's how I could basically break all the rules that any teenager wouldn't have been able to lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like whenever the school calls, Fai will pick up and say, oh yeah, there's something going on at home. So he cannot go to school and everything. But what were you, so you said that I had to go. Why?
I felt that you outgrown the school. Okay, so first of all, right, maybe because of the way I've seen you in Sec 1 and Sec 2, right, your cognitive ability, your ability to process information, and you're not the kind of person who will rebel for the sake of rebelling, right? You were not the one who will go up to Mr. Singh and just puncture his tire just for the sake of doing it, right? I always felt that you are a survivor. You're streetwise enough. Of course, there's always a concern as to whether you will go beyond the tipping point, right? And then, do things that get you caught. But deep down in me, I knew you won't be that stupid. You won't be that stupid. So in fact, you're not the only one, right? There are a few who drop out. I was more involved in getting them back than your case.
Remember one time, like a few years ago, because of the way you were taking care of us, you had a fight with a teacher. Yeah, and what's his name again?
It wasn't really it was an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for some context to this story, because there was a teacher in our school that passed away.
Yeah.
And he committed suicide.
Rumored.
Yeah.
Rumored.
It was quite a gruesome story because apparently students were saying, or people were saying that he hung himself.
I hear different things, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. And this happened like after we graduated, like I was already in my adult years.
Yeah.
And when I met Mr. Tam again a few years ago, and he told me a story about this guy, and you felt very bad about it.
Yeah.
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 So what actually happened?
I think this speaks to the kind of pressure that teachers, especially those in management, they feel. So when I left, so I attended my resignation the same day that the class, the 40 class, finished the N-levels, right? The last day, I remember it was 28th of October. And I actually attended my resignation, right? So I was a head examiner for another school. Okay, so I had to go and do this examination. Then I went back to PT after I submitted all the papers, right? And I went to the office and I gave my resignation letter, right, to the admin manager, Evelyn, who was still in school, because all the other HOD left. Then I left my letter on Mr. Ernst's table, to inform him that I quit, right? Today is my last day and I don't intend to serve notice. If you want to, and the way it works is that they will not pay you the salary, right? I said, I'm fine. I put everything in the letter, right? Then I think a few days later, I received a call to ask me to go back to school. They wanted to close off everything. So I went to his cubicle in the HOD room. He asked me whether I want to go through my appraisal. I said, there's no point for it, all right? I want to leave happily, right? Amicably. And whatever you write in the appraisal, as long as it's the truth, right? I didn't know, right, that they failed me in my appraisal.
Okay.
I didn't know. I just signed. Anyway, the form wasn't filled. I just signed. I said, okay, I signed. You just fill whatever you want to fill. I leave it as it is. And I only knew that I failed my appraisal, right, when I received a letter from MOE. It's like a letter to say that you have left the school. And then there was this whole record of my grades and so on, right? So I'm thinking, hey, you failed me for my appraisal. If down the road one day, right, I decide to go teaching again, and then they ask me for my MOE record, I'm screwed, basically, right? Yeah.
So this is your resume in a sense,
In a way, in a way. And then I was damn pissed with it. So I went to Mr. Ng. I said, hey, basically, what's happening? Why you trick me into doing this? Right? I was so nice to not give you any trouble. I thought I was, and I thought we had a very peaceful, nice last year for me in BT, right? And why did you play me out? And he was struggling to explain, and then he cried. I remember I trashed him, this guy. I just keep scolding vulgarity at him, and I scream and yell. And Mr. Wong, right, Shane from common room could hear, because Shane was doing some work for the Boys Brigade. He came in and said, he basically rushed in and trying to see what was happening, And then Mr. Singh also came out. I remember Mr. Singh was in school, and Mr. Singh was the one who pulled me out of the HOD room. I was very close to slamming the whole table on Mr. Ng's face. I was very, very pissed, and he couldn't offer me a good reason why he did that. I only realized later, right, he was pressured by Mr. Boo to do it. One of the teachers told me that I shouldn't have blamed Mr. Ng. And that was told to me, right, at Mr. Ng's wake. It was a teacher who pulled me aside and told me that you should not blame Mr. Ng anymore. It wasn't him, it was the school principal.
But why did Mr. Boo not like you?
Mr. Boo has never liked me for a longest time.
Mr. Boo is the principal of the school.
Yeah.
But why?
Mr. Boo is a very funny character. He's a very funny character. I think he never liked people who don't toe the line. Who doesn't toe his line. Yeah.
I remember he had very weird hair. Like he looks like he was wearing a wig.
I see him recently, I see him recently, and he's now teaching in NIE.
Okay.
He's like a part-time lecturer or something in the NIE, because I teach in NTU now, right? I actually met him, saw him, but I didn't had a conversation with him. But it was interesting to see after so many years. So I was told that it was the management of the school principal who mandated that, because somebody has to take the D grade, right? For others to not to get, because it's this thing called the forced ranking. Somebody has to be marked down. So that the rest don't have to be marked down. It's a very it's a very nonsensical system.
That's like mad politics. That is
also the reason why it contributes to politics. It contributes to what we call a toxic workplace, because everybody knows at the end of the day, it's between you and the person next to you in the staff room. If if the person get D, you don't get the D. Right? So it was quite, to me, it was quite a shock to have that. In fact, so I left the school really angry. Mr. Singh was the one who sent me off. He was the last person that I saw in the school.
Yeah.
And never gone back.
One of the greatest lines that I always remember by you is that whenever I misbehave, and you always tell me that, if you continue behaving this way, you end up in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he always, Mr. Tao always repeats this line to me and a few other people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he always repeats this line to two people, actually. Just me and Ray Hong.
Yeah.
Right? And unfortunately, it came true. Like when Ray Hong went to jail after school, and how did you feel at that point of time? So, I mean, okay, it's for the people who are watching, it was very big news in Singapore.
Yeah.
Right? So, Ray Hong were one of the suspects. It's not the suspect. What's the word? Basically, Ray Hong went to jail for a slashing case that ended up in a murder. And this was the millennials would know this. It was the Downtown East case. Yeah. So my classmate, who's actually one of my closest friends in secondary school, and he was one of them. How did you feel at the time? Like when you heard the news?
Actually, it was one of the classmates who called me. That night itself, the next morning when it happened. So there's a story for this. But to cut it short, actually, I knew something was happening that night, right? Because it was the same night that I was at the hospital. I was at the hospital. I was visiting a friend of uncle who stayed in this home called the Singapore Shelter Home, and he was hospitalized. And that was the night that he passed away. So I was actually walking I was actually walking with my girlfriend, my wife, right? Out of SGH. And then we saw the commotion, at the hospital. Right, I think he was the guy who died was just passed away in the operation theatre. Then the very morning, right, I didn't have much sleep. Then the very morning, one of the girls called me. He said, everyone got into trouble. I said, what trouble? She asked me to read the news. I said, isn't this looks like what I have witnessed in the hospital? So I connected everything together. I knew it was a big case. It was a big case. I was disappointed. But I was more worried than disappointment because I don't know how life would be like for him. But I must say, he served his time, and I'm very proud of him now. He's able to have a family, run whatever he's doing. But of course, when I see him, I say, please don't do anything funny anymore. Yeah. All right, this society is not that forgiving.
Yeah.
All right.
And because they were running away, because they know they got caught, right?
Yeah, they hide. They went.
Did you try to ask him to come out of hiding?
I asked your classmate to call him and said, don't hide. Just come out. Yeah. I think he was among the first to actually went to the police. I know a couple of them tried to run away and they were caught.
Also, he surrendered himself.
I think he did. Yeah, I remember he did. The one that you read in the news that jumped into the swimming pool at Raffles Marina, it wasn't him.
Oh, it was the other boys.
Two other boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, two other boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fortunately, he was involved, but he didn't actually was involved in the actual stabbing. Yeah. So to me, it was like he still had some senses in him, just that he was in bad company. Which is what I always worry, you see. That you guys won't do that deed, but you all will be there when the deed is done. And the way our society is that it's as good as you are doing it, if you're there.
Yeah.
This is the way it is, right? Yeah, accomplished, right? And the burden is on you to stop what is happening. Even though you may be helpless stopping, but you are there, you too bad. You are part of the gang. Yeah.
And even after school, you didn't stop caring for us. Every year, you will text us for Chinese New Year dinner.
Just to catch up.
Yeah. And then during COVID, I think you gave all of us a bit of money.
I did reach out.
Which was, wow, during COVID, like I'm a full-grown adult. And it's only like, 4 years ago? So I was like 28, 29.
Yeah.
And Mr. Tam messaged us in the group chat like, yo, it's COVID, I'll be sending you guys some money.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This is very weird, but okay. And he did send us some money, which to me, guys, there is no other form teacher that would have done this for any of their students lah. Like, I've never heard this kind of stories. Every time I tell my friends that I'm still friends with my form teacher, they don't believe. Like, they really, why would your form teachers still be friends with you? And every time I tell your story of how you took care of us and how you made sure we graduate, and even until now, you're still friends with us, they really don't believe.
I don't see myself still taking care of you all. But I just wanted you all to know a large part of my life, right, of who I am today was the experience I had with all of you. And in a way, it's also a sense of gratitude that, you know, all of you were part of my life. And I felt that that's something that I cherish a lot. Yeah. You know, those other things that happen outside, I mean, after all of you have graduated and so on, I mean, all of you left that essentially different life. But what I can say is that all of you led lives that you are fully aware of what you're doing and you're fully responsible and accountable. Of course, some of you have met some hardship here and there. I mean, who does not, right? I mean, even I myself, I had hardship as well, right? As I was growing up. Maybe I was just fortunate that I'm born in a family where I have support from siblings and you know, my own parents when they were still around, right? For me to reach out during COVID, you know, was just to tell you all that there's a door that you all can open, right? There is this channel that you all can get some support and some help if you need to Yeah. So all in all, you know, I do, you know, try as much as I can to support if I can.
Now you've taught a normal technical class and now you're in HR. And you say you've met some ITE students and you are very impressed by them. Yeah. Now, why are you impressed?
I think I find one of the very critical traits, right, or critical characteristic of people to be successful in the workplace, right, is resilience. And being resourceful. These two are.
Yeah.
Right, resilience and resourceful. And I do find that, you know, people who have to rough it out earlier on in their years are a lot more resourceful than those who didn't need to.
It's true.
So there was a point in time when I was in the healthcare, right? And it was during COVID. So I was in healthcare during COVID. It was madness. I was in a medtech company, right? And I had to very quickly onboard a lot of contractors to help to do all the logistic work for us, right? To support people who was having COVID. So I really befriended a lot of people from very diverse background. And one thing I'm very thankful to them, right, is I just get a problem, they will solve it. I don't have to spell out that this, and by the way, this is how much you'll be getting and so on. I just assure them, this is a problem. Can you share with me how you will solve this? No problem, I do it. Then they come back to you asking for money. They don't calculate everything in advance, right? Then they do it because they had the same experience before, right? If you want people to pay you, you have to prove that you can do it first.
Oh my God, that's actually very true. Like, okay, like there's a quote that says, if you want something done faster, you ask a lazy person. And I'm not relating it back to normal technical students, but when you said that, you know, when you had a rough life at the start, you're actually more resourceful.
Yes.
Because if I have to relate it back to myself and the past that I went through or the youth that I had, right? One of the skills that I'm very proud of is that I know how to survive. In that sense, like if I need money, I know that, okay, I go and work. Like, you know, if I need something, I go and make friends with this person.
Right.
Like, I know where to put myself in to basically get what I want. Yeah, interesting take. And do you think that now, okay, because you're in HR, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the market now for normal technical students and ITE students would be similar to a degree holder?
I would think that the society is a lot more appreciative of skills. Skills that you can, and we're not looking at, so you see the difference between a degree holder and a you know, non-degree holder, right? Is a non-degree holder, you specialize very quickly and you get what we call trade skills. It means skills that people will pay you an hourly rate for. Whereas a degree holder, right, is where you are looking at, in general, in a broad sense, what can you do? So I buy you 8 hours of your time. I pay you a salary, right? You have to demonstrate, what you can do for that 8 hours, right? So it can be a broad, set of different things that you're doing to make up for the 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where the difference is. And I feel that there is a lot more focus on, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you're a degree or diploma or whatever you call it. At the end of the day, what are you able to provide as the value? It can be a broad set of things that you're doing, right? It can also be a very specialized that one skills that you have, right? As long as you can bring value to the organization, that's what the organization needs. That's where, people who graduate from trade schools with trade skills like ITE students, don't have to worry about, because you have the trade skills. You have the exact skill sets that is needed that people will pay you to do, right? Because you have that. You went into specialization very early on. I'm not saying all IT courses are the same. Some actually prepare you to take on more general role. But if you look at hardcore, okay, you take one of your classmates, for example, Wee Jiang, right? He's into animation. How many people can replace his skill sets? Not many.
Yeah.
Right? He Jie went into engineering. He's a technician. Right? That in itself is a trade skill.
That is true.
Yeah.
No. And even like designers now, like AI is replacing them.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like hard skills, like, okay, animation is a hard skill.
Yeah.
To me. Editing videos is a hard skill. Recording videos is a hard skill. So like, and I realized also hard skills, like IT is great for teaching hard skills. Like, even like at that point of time when you tell me to take, when at that point of time I hear about, what's this hair cutting course?
Oh yeah, hairdressing.
To me, ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. Like, why would I want to learn how to cut hair? But now that I'm older and I cut hair every 2 weeks, then I'm like, you know what? Like, the people who took the course are probably earning big bucks.
Yeah, the customers will follow you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which studio a saloon that you work at, they follow you because you have the skills.
Yeah, and these are hard skills that every day people look for. Yeah. Right? And like even cooking courses. You tell me last time, I'll tell you, fuck you lah, waste time. But now like if I have an opportunity to open an F&B, if someone offers me an opportunity to open an F&B, I would.
Yeah, one of your classmates, Yao lah, he's a chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a sous chef or some chef lah. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like basically the needs that humans need.
Yeah.
Which actually need hard skills lah. But yes, that's all the time that we have.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. If you guys didn't know, Mr. Tam actually won 2 awards, right?
Oh yes, I asked me to bring. I forgot to bring.
Yeah, but okay, Mr. Tam won 2 awards from MOE. What are the awards?
It was more school level award lah. So it's more on it was one. I don't know what it was called, caring teachers award lah.
Okay.
And another one is, I can't remember which was, but it is for the time that I spent with the students lah. Yeah. So award from the school, to award to teachers who have shown care and concern for students lah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never heard any other teacher that won this award, but my form teacher won this award. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you everyone.
And sharing our life together during school. If you guys have anything you'd like me to talk about, or if you guys have any guests you would like me to invite, let me know in the comment section below. If not, I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks everyone. Thanks.